Good morning, students. Uh, Today we'll start a new chapter in business studies, that is the forms of business organization. In this chapter, we'll discuss the forms, the types of business organizations. Okay, so there are some types that we'll discuss in this chapter is sole proprietorship and joint Hindu family business, partnership, cooperative society, and joint stock company. So these are the five forms of business organization that we will discuss in this chapter. Okay, so first of all we are coming to the sole proprietorship. Okay, sole proprietorship. So first of all, discuss the meaning of this. Okay, uh, sole trader is a type of business unit where a person is solely responsible for providing the capital, for bearing the risk of the enterprise, and for the management of business. Or you can say, suppose in sole proprietorship, there's only one person in sole proprietorship who manages the business, who controls the business. Means he is all in that business. Okay, there's only one person. If there is any profit in the business, he will obviously the one person who will get the profit, and if there is any loss in the business, he is the one person that has to suffer that loss. Okay, you can also see the this meaning of sole proprietorship. The word sole means only, and proprietor means owner. So therefore, the sole proprietorship means the only owner of the business. Sole proprietorship is a form of business organization which is owned, financed, managed, and controlled by a single person who enjoys all the profit and bears all the risk. Okay, because he is the only one person. If suppose if the firm is the business is getting profit, so he is the only one person who will get all the profit, and he has to manage the business, he has to control the business, and he has to take all the decisions by himself. Okay, now suitability, will discuss the suitability. Means in which type of business, in which type of you can say the business that the sole proprietorship form of business will be suitable. Okay, so sole proprietorship is the best suited for the following business. Number one, business which are carried on out on small scale and modest capital and limited managerial talent, such as medical store, local grocery store, bakeries, small factories, etc. Means the business in which small capital has to be invested and limited managerial skills are required. Okay, in that type of business, sole proprietorship form is suitable. Okay, next is business where customers demand personalized services like tailoring shops, beauty parlors, and internet cafe. Okay, and hair cutting salons, dry cleaners, etc. So these type of businesses, these require personalized services. Okay, आप टेलरिंग शॉप पर जाते हैं, कपड़े सिलवाने के लिए जाते हैं, तो यू रिक्वायर सम पर्सनलाइज्ड सर्विसेज. तो ऑल द बिजनेसेस विच रिक्वायर पर्सनलाइज्ड सर्विसेज, उनके लिए द सोल प्रोप्राइटरशिप विल बी बेस्ट सूटेड. ओके, नेक्स्ट इज बिजनेस प्रोड्यूसिंग आर्टिस्टिक गुड्स. ओके, लाइक एम्ब्रॉयडरी हो गया, क्राफ्ट सेंटर एसेट्रा. So these are the artistic, these are the business which requires artistic talent, business producing artistic goods. तो उसके लिए ये sole proprietorship will be best suited. Okay, next is business where risk is negligible, that is doctors, chartered accountants, lawyers, etc. मीन्स जिसमें रिस्क बहुत कम होता है, उस टाइप के बिजनेसेस में सोल प्रोप्राइटरशिप बेटर होती है. ओके, नाउ सम फीचर्स ऑफ द कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स ऑफ सोल प्रोप्राइटरशिप. फर्स्ट इज फॉर्मेशन एंड क्लोजर. तो इट इज़ वेरी इजी टू स्टार्ट अ सोल प्रोप्राइटरशिप, and it is also easy to close down that the business. When you start the business, except one or two, they are except one or two businesses, the licensing of that business is not required. ओके अगर आप मेडिकल या लिकर शॉप वगैरह को छोड़ दीजिए तो इनके लिए लाइसेंस ज़रूरी है. बट इफ़ यू टॉक अबाउट द अदर बिजनेसेस, सोल प्रोप्राइटरशिप बिजनेस, लाइसेंसिंग इज़ नॉट रिक्वायर्ड. गवर्नमेंट ने लिबरलाइजेशन पॉलिसी के अंडर में बहुत सारे लाइसेंस को छोड़ दिया है. ठीक है. एंड ऑल्सो द क्लोजर इज़ ऑल्सो वेरी ईजी बिकॉज the sole proprietor is not required to take permission from anybody that he wants to close down the business. If you see the partnership firm, so if the partnership firm has to be closed, the consent of all the partners must be required. So in in sole proprietorship, the formation and the closure of business is very easy. Okay. Next is liability. The liability of sole proprietor is unlimited. If there is any loss in the business, the sole proprietor has to sell out his personal property and to pay off his liability. So the liability of the sole proprietor is unlimited. Okay, unlimited. Next is sole risk bearer and profit recipient. Means he is the only one person. He is the only one person who bears the risk. Okay. Nobody is going to share his risk. He is the one person, he is the only person, he has to bear all the risk. Okay. And if obviously he is bearing the risk, so जो भी profit होगा, the profit goes to that person only. Okay. The risk or the profit will also not be shared with anybody. Okay. Next is one man control. One man control means he is the one person, he has to manage the business, he has to control the business, he is to do all the things for his business. So means he has to control the business. The sole proprietor has to complete control over his business activities. The sole proprietor himself is the owner, organizer, advisor, financier and manager of his business. Okay. Now next is no separate entity. A business sole proprietor is not separate from his business. You cannot say that as we as we study in accountancy, that business and businessman, these are two separate entities, but this is only for the accounting point of view, है ना. यहाँ पे भी अगर हम if a sole proprietor is preparing his accounts, is preparing his financial statement, so when we prepare the financial statement with that point of view, sole proprietor and his business is two different entities. But if we talk about the liability of that business, so you can say the sole proprietor and his business, these are not separate entity. Okay. So in the eyes of law, there is no difference between the sole proprietor and his business. In case of sole proprietorship business, the owner and his business are considered one and the same. Therefore, the sole proprietor is held liable for all the activities of the business. Next is lack of business continuity. Obviously, if the sole proprietor has to go somewhere, so he has to close down his business. बंद करना पड़ेगा और उसे कहीं जाना है तो, है ना. और उसकी डेथ पर इफ़ अगर उसकी डेथ हो जाती है, इन केस ऑफ हिज डेथ, तो बिजनेस कैन नॉट बी गो फॉर अ लॉन्ग पीरियड इन फ्यूचर, है ना. अगर उसका कोई एग्जीक्यूटर है तो ही कैन रन द बिजनेस. बट इन मोस्ट ऑफ द केसेस, इफ द सोल प्रोप्राइटर meet any insolvency, infancy and anything like that, so the business has to be closed down. So the lack of business continuity is there in sole proprietorship. Okay. So these are the meaning and some suitability and features of sole proprietorship business. So in our next video we'll discuss the merits and demerits of sole proprietorship business. Okay, student. So read this all the things, and if you have any problem, any query, you can ask me. Thank you.